So Gala Games is the gaming project that everyone and their mother already have heard of. I have historically been kind of bearish on Gala since 2020, 2021, since the bull market, largely because Gala Games was very heavily overshielded in my opinion, and the tokenomics for Gala was honestly terrible in the last bull market because the inflation was very high and the initial circulating supply was very low. However, today I really think Gala is starting to turn around, and we're gonna really just dive deep in their tokenomics and see why this is the case. So really brief, if you're not familiar with Gala Games, they are a game store, a game publisher that's dedicated for Web3. So Gala Games they're basically a game store very similar to Steam. So right away you can see they have their kind of music sector, they have their film sector, and they have a large list of games that's on their game store, all powered by the kind of Gala token and their Gala ecosystem nodes, which help to not only run their kind of blockchain functionalities, but also curating their games. So that's the gist of it. Gala is a publisher, a game store for Web3 games. In the last bull market, let's just jump straight into their tokenomics. So in the last bull market, you most likely have heard of Gala Games, how their node model was very revolutionary, how you could just buy a Gala node and you just start earning money magically, passive income. Now, why was this bad? This was because it's very similar to a play to earn farming model in the 2021 bull market. So when you look at the market cap of Gala, so at its bull market peak in 2021, its market cap peaked at over $5 billion. Now, this would be okay if the total supply was all circulating. However, when you consider the price of Gala, so at the peak, the price of Gala was around 75 cents. So dividing $5 billion by 75 cents, you have roughly 7 billion tokens of supply that was circulating at the bull market peak. Keep that in mind. And then when you look at the max supply of Gala in the bull market period, the max supply was actually 50 billion tokens. This means at the bull market peak, only 14% of the total tokens were circulating. That's just not okay. That's a crazy small amount of tokens that were circulating that was essentially overinflating the price of Gala at the bull market top. And that was the main reason why these early node providers were earning a lot of money. Because very similar to Axie Infinity, how their token was very heavily, propped up in price, and a lot of people jumped in thinking that yield was going to sustain themselves over a long period of time. Once they bought up all these nodes, Gala price quickly came down. And then as the price comes down, because the rewards were denominated in Gala token itself, well, the yield percentages also came down, and thus why, it fed into this negative feedback loop. Just to give you a little bit of number calculations. So in the bull market, people were buying these Gala nodes for 20 to 30K, but the projected ROI earnings was over 100% APR per year. That sounded crazy high, right? However, today, one Gala node costs around 3.6 million Gala tokens. So taking that and dividing and times it by the 1.3 cents per Gala, that gives you around $40,000 per node today. However, the actual earnings today at current price is only 350 Gala tokens per day, which equals to 1.8K per year. So think about that. So today, if you buy a Gala node, because the prices are so down, you spend $40,000 and you earn 1.8K per year. That's only that's only 4% APR per year. That is even losing out to like USDC yield. That is losing out to even bank deposits. That is not a great return. So this is why early days Gala, even though so many people were shilling it, I think that was really, really a terrible time to invest in this, because the tokenomics was so skewed against the token buyers, and the only way to profit from it was that if you got into the nodes early and you could farm it. But that was the main reason why so many people were promoting it, because they got into the nodes early and they were farming high amounts of Gala and dumping on the market. Now, all that to say, actually, the tokenomics has actually significantly changed. And today, the same kind of high inflation trap does not exist anymore. So let's look at tokenomics actually for today. Here is the supply chart of Gala. So this looks very weird, right? Because in the bull market, essentially, there wasn't even a very accurate tracking of the supply of Gala. And you see throughout the bull market, the supply was basically flat at 7 billion. For the past 6 months or so, they have finally started to track the Gala token supply very transparently. And you see this inflation is pretty much rising very gradually. And now we know exactly how much Gala tokens is circulating, which at today is around 2.25 billion tokens. So you can find this very clearly here on CoinMarketCap as well. 25 billion tokens circulating out of 27 billion total supply. Now, just to make sure that this is accurate, I also cross-referenced it with the Gala Tokenomics that was updated just last month in September. So here you see, even though the max total supply of Gala is 50 billion, in May of this year, the Gala team actually made a huge token burn where 20.9 billion tokens was burnt from the total supply. So this means the total supply, the maximum supply available in perpetuity is now 29.1 billion, right? So let's say 30 billion total tokens that's ever possible, right? So 30 billion total supply is ever possible. And you can see also this blog post that you can see all of the exact burn transactions that they have taken here. Now, keeping that in mind, let's continue to read this. Approximately 2 billion Gala tokens are currently held in the reserve by Gala Games team. Is this accurate? Well, we can also very easily track this on chain. So here you see this is Etherscan contract address for Gala, and opening that up, you can go to the holders. Gala Games reserve contract address, right? Their holdings is 2 billion, just over 2 billion tokens. So this matches this team supply also as well, approximately 2 billion. They even use approximately. So that is exactly correct. So now we know exactly how much tokens are coming to the market over the next 2 years. So let me give you the actual breakdown now. The maximum supply for Gala is not 50 billion anymore because 21 billion has been burnt, which means 29 billion is the maximum supply that can ever exist, right? 29 is the number. Now, currently, the total supply is 27 that has been minted. Out of that 27, 25 billion is circulating in everyday holder in exchanges in tokens you can buy. And 2 billion is held by the team treasury, as we can verify on Etherscan. So that means out of the 29 billion total tokens, right, we have 25 billion already circulating, 2 billion owned by the team, and then the other 2 billion is the only token inflation that will be distributed to the Gala node farmers until the year 2030. This is actually because Gala has halving schedule that continue to decrease the Gala token rewards to the founder nodes. So that's the tokenomics. 29 billion total supply, 2 billion still owned by the team that they can unlock at any time, and 2 billion to be inflation until 2030 in the next 7 years. So to summarize that, Gala's token supply today is really good. You take 25 divided by 29, that is 86% of the token supply circulating, which is much better than the bull market levels. And the inflation is only 0.5% per month, which is about 5% per year for the current year. And due to the halving events, next year, the token inflation will only be at 2.5% per year. This year, 5%, next year, 2.5%, year after, 1.25%. So the inflation schedule for Gala is very small now. And team holding is only 2 billion out of 29 billion, which is 6.8% of the total supply held by the team. Very small amount compared to other, large treasuries out there. So with those numbers in mind, I think it's very clear to say that the high inflation trap for Gala is now over. The Gala team holds 6.7% of the total supply. That is it. The node operators, well, they cannot dump on the markets anymore because they only get 5% of the existing supply that's inflation over the next year, and then 2.5% on top of that, and then continue to half. So this is why their earnings are essentially non-existent now. They're barely earning any money, which means they cannot dump. So considering those two aspects, this is really good for the investors' perspective, because while the investors, they want as little token inflation coming onto the market as possible. So this is amazing news, because the token now can freely grow in price without worrying about constant sell pressure. So that is why today, even though Gala price is down so much, even though, recently there has been this FUD with the Gala, token founders, with their infighting, right? There was this lawsuit where their co-founder was saying, hey, like, you stole some tokens, you misused some of our tokens. Even though there's this FUD, I still believe Gala today is the best time to be to invest in versus the past 3 years, because the tokenomics has actually changed. That's why on today's list, I'm putting Gala as my number 2, gaming coin that I'm very interested to invest in now. Historically, I have always hated this coin for that tokenomics, but for that same reason, because the tokenomics has essentially completely reversed, I am now very bullish on it. So that's why, very long segment on Gala, but hopefully you understood the exact calculations that I dug into.